All right, Tyler Perry fans, hope everybody's doing well. It is 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I just finished watching Tyler Perry's Finding Joy on Prime Video. It just dropped this morning, and I gotta say, I loved it. I loved it. And if anybody from Tyler Perry Studios is listening to this video, if you could pass this along to the big guy himself and just request that he make more movies like this. This was very enjoyable. It felt very different from the typical Tyler Perry formula. A couple months ago, I remember saying how much I enjoyed the Medea Destination Wedding just because it was a step outside of the realm of the nonstop drama, because Tyler Perry was on a stretch of films from like Duplicity and Straw, and everything was all drama and hardship and whatnot. But this was a feel good film, and I really liked Ruth and Boaz that dropped, I believe, in September. I like that movie. But I would say I prefer Finding Joy. Because when I first saw the trailer, my instinct was, okay, yeah, this is definitely giving off Hallmark or Lifetime or BET Plus Christmas films, if you will, where the plot is very predictable, but you have to watch these films with the you got to think outside of the limitations of realistic life, if that makes sense. Basically, you go into these films not looking for them to be fully something you comprehend. You look at them for what they are. It can be cheesy at times, but there's a lot of heart. And that's exactly what I felt. But this movie did not have the same level of cheesiness as a Hallmark or Lifetime film. There were a couple moments where I'm like, wait, what? But then I'm like, no, it's a holiday film. Just watch it. And I did, and I got to give it a 10 out of 10. I love this movie. I definitely see myself, what is it, November 5th, right? So I see myself watching this at least 2 more times before Christmas. I live in Virginia. We have not had a white Christmas since I was in like middle school. And we don't get snow until maybe, around New Year's, a little something. Then maybe once in January, twice in February, and then the snow's gone and that's it. So to watch a film where I'm seeing a lot of snow, it just put me in that Christmas mood. Heck, it almost makes me want to put up my Christmas trees now. It almost does. Almost, because that requires work. But I enjoyed this movie. Yes, this will be a spoiler review, but like I said, this is a holiday film, so I think you know where this is going. So, man, one thing I gotta say, I like the acting. It was good. I think Tyler Perry, this is one of those genres where I hope he does more. Case in point, you got the Medea films for Halloween, 2 for Halloween, and you got the Medea Christmas, and now you got Finding Joy. Mr. Perry, if you could just throw in a movie for Thanksgiving, you got the trifecta. Because this is a film I see people watching every year during the holiday season. And I mean that, because it was that good. I mean, familiar faces, Aaron O'Connell, Wyatt from The Haves and the Have-Nots plays Colton. I will say this up front, because I know if anyone watches this film and you follow my content, especially sisters, you know my crush on a certain actress and character from that show. Before I get into my review, I knew just a few minutes into this movie, I'm like, I need to address this now to let folks know there is zero bias when I eventually record my thoughts on the film. Miss Shannon Thornton just so happens to favor Crystal Lee Naomi, who plays Jasmine in the Haves. Alyssa in the Haves and the Have-Nots, but Jasmine in Sisters. And there were so many scenes where I'm like, holy crap, she's a dead ringer for my boo. And especially when she was wearing like the leather jacket and trying to get out of Colorado at the airport and whatnot. I'm like, this is dang near the same style that Jasmine was wearing when she returned in the season 8 finale of Sisters and got shot, and I freaked out. And that was on the internet, so people saw that. Now, all I'm saying is this. I forgot when this movie was filmed. I literally forgot. And I don't exactly recall when Sisters Season 8 was filmed. I think it was right before I moved into my house, so it was probably April-ish of 2024. So this movie might have been filmed after that. And I'm not saying that Tyler saw my response and was like, okay, I'll fix up Joy to look like Jeremy's girl. If that's what he did, I got to give him props for that. Because I'm like, holy crap, she looks just like her. But all jokes aside, Shannon/Joy looking like Crystal/Jasmine in no way, shape, or form impacts how I feel about this movie. Okay? I just want to put that out there. But regardless, Finding Joy, which was I think initially called Joy Ridge. I remember that was the initial name of the film, which makes sense because the main love interest of the movie, his name is Ridge. Now, I'm going to give a brief synopsis of the film. Like I said, this is a holiday movie. It's easy to break down in terms of, okay, here's what happened at point A, point C, point G, and how we got to Z. Basically, the setup is a standard holiday film. All right. Oh, yeah. And before going forward in the video, please take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like it. Hit subscribe. Folks, we need about 1,800 people. We just need about 1,800 people for this channel to finally hit 300,000 subscribers. So if you're watching this video and this is your first time here, please do me a solid and hit subscribe. Also, hit the notification bell and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. This movie starts off at a fashion show, which is interesting because didn't they just have like Fashion Week recently? I feel like they did. I don't really follow that stuff, but I know it's on Shade Room and everything when I scroll, so it wasn't that long ago. So we're at this fashion show, and we're introduced to Joy watching from backstage. And it turns out she's a fashion designer who works for a condescending boss named Patrick, or Patrick. Patrick. I don't know what it is. Anytime there's like a movie and there's someone who is involved in fashion, there's always an accent. Like Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada. I forgot if she had an accent. I only watched that movie one time because I like Anne Hathaway. But yeah, that's usually a trope. Now, I gotta say, Joy's friends were hilarious. I believe their names were Ashley and Lydia. And they were definitely the comic relief. So they are the encouraging gal pals in terms of one kind of being over the top like Danny from Sisters, and the other one being more understanding and level-headed, like Sabrina from Sisters. But they pretty much encourage Joy to, you know, just start her own fashion line because of the fact that this jerk is taking credit for her designs, and, you know, he's the one with his, you know, name on the billboards, and people recognize he's rubbing elbows with the elites of fashion, but they know her designs are what put him in that position, or is keeping him in that position. But her thing is that, you know what, I don't want to rock the boat. I'm just playing ball. I'm just, you know, taking the hits in order to eventually get my name on a billboard as well. So then we're introduced to Colton again. Wyatt from the Haves and the Have-Nots. Is going to be difficult for me to not call him Wyatt. And side note, Got to give props to Tyler Perry again. I just love seeing rotating actors who are in shows or a movie, and then I see them pop up in another show or a movie. So for those who miss the haves and the have-nots like I do, hey, watch this film. This is another incentive. Now, to be fair, he is not in the movie that much, but I just support it because, hey, he was an actor in it. Just like Tyler Lepley. I know he was in Ruth and Boaz. Was he in Duplicity? I cannot remember. I'm sorry. That movie just kind of faded into the back of my mind. I know it was a Prime Video movie though, because what was it? Divorce in the Black, or yeah, Divorce in the Black, Duplicity, Finding Joy. Sorry, it's hard because sometimes I get it mixed up because he's such a busy guy. He has so many movies on Prime Video, then he has so many movies on Netflix, so they kind of run together for me. But his whole thing, okay, and I gotta admit, Colton is the definition. He's the walking billboard of, hey, I'm the kind of guy you would see in a Hallmark or Lifetime movie. And no, I am not just saying that because he's white. I'm talking about the way he acts. Essentially, he treats Joy like one of the guys because Joy has had a past of failed romances. So she's trying a different approach as opposed to falling in love and, being obvious about it. I guess she was assuming that being Colton's friend without showing obvious attraction would eventually lead to him falling for her. And her friends are like, no, I mean, like, what's your situation anyway? Because he's blowing you kisses while you're standing backstage and whatnot, and he's over there talking with the models. So Colton apparently had gotten out of a relationship recently, and Joy herself had just gotten out of just had a nasty breakup. Now Colton comes up, and after cringe, I felt secondhand cringe, secondhand embarrassment whenever he would call her one of the guys and kiss her on the forehead, and I'm like, Joy, I'm no relationship expert. I mean, technically, I have a certificate for therapy of relationship counseling. I'm a nerd, but I feel like even I would know that if a girl called me like, well, look, I've been friend zoned so many. Look, you didn't ask for this information about myself, but I've been friend zoned so many times. I think I would know that if a woman told me, hey, you're like my brother or whatever, I know that, okay, I don't have a chance. I need to just let go of any thought of us being together. So here's what happened. He, out of the blue, says, hey, I think we need to take things to the next level. And I'm thinking, next level? Like, have you even taken the car out of park? So he invites her to come to Colorado to meet his family because, hey, the holidays are coming up. I know you don't have any family here in New York. Why not, fly out and meet with my folks, and we'll pick you up in the airport. And the friends, and he says, I got a surprise for you. Now, this would have ticked me off because the setup was like, what? What's he about to do? So the friends warn her to stop with the romance novels because we're over at their apartment and she's packing to leave. Surprisingly, with only one suitcase, which a woman with one suitcase. Holy crap, that is amazing. I never seen that before in my life. But this is a movie. This is a movie. Now, Joy has this thing where she fantasizes about romance novels because her friends talk about how, again, you need to leave that job because we're sick and tired of you coming home every day from work crying and yelling and drinking about how awful things are there, and then you keep trying to live out these romantic novels and they don't play in your favor, and it's like you set yourself up for favor by allowing men to keep walking all over you. So from there, she ends up getting on the plane, and Colton and his father pick her up from the airport. And then they go back to like the family home, which is a nice cabin and whatnot. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. So this is where I would have just, oh man, I felt so bad. So Colton brings her into the house. She meets the family, and I'm assuming, okay, so we got the dad, the mom. Oh, that must be Colton's sister. And, it's just a warm welcome. It's like, oh, Colton's told us so much about you, and we're so thankful that you look out for him in Colorado, in New York, and this, that, and the third. And next thing you know, Colton's like, yeah, you know what? Let's stop. I need to do this right now. Wait, what? What? She just got here. No. I want to do this. I can't wait anymore. So he takes Joy by the hands and looks her in the eyes. And his sister has her phone ready, the camera and everything. And, his parents are, right there too. And I'm thinking, whoa, he's about to propose. This man looked her in the eye and it's like, Joy, I've only known you a couple of months. I'm thinking, wait, it's only been a couple of months he's proposing? I guess when you know, you know. I don't know. I would love for you to be the best woman. Wait, what? My best woman, like best man at my wedding. And I haven't had to do this in a while. I literally had to pause. I had to pause the movie, get up from my desk and walk around because I'm just trying to fathom who does this. Now, listen, I don't know if this is a traditional white people thing, but I went to Liberty University with a whole bunch of white people there. I have a lot of white friends. I went to a couple of their weddings, or I've heard about how they proposed and whatnot. I have never once heard of anyone, white, black, brown, whoever, have a mini ceremony asking someone to be their best man or best woman. Like, you just ask, like, yo, dog, you want to be the best man? Yeah, what's up? Yeah, you were down in the trenches with me. I'm like, what in the hallmark is going on here? And I gotta say, Shannon sold this scene for me. Shannon sold, like, the way I felt so bad when she turned around, but when she realized that the girl that I thought was the sister was Colton's fiance. And when she turned around and saw the banner saying, congratulations, Colton, and the girl's name, I think is Heather. I could be wrong. Look, I'm sorry. I had to get up from the computer. I'm like, Tyler, bro, what the? That was crazy. All right. So she starts breaking down and the parents are like, wait, are you okay? And it's like, oh no, it's just a lot to take in, the flight and everything. Oh yeah, well, you go up to the room and freshen up. So she gets on the phone for friends and she tells her what happened. And, the one friend, I think Lydia was her name. She's the outspoken one. And she's like, I didn't want to say I told you so, but, so they pretty much, well, one of them clowns her and the other one is supportive. And she's like, I got to get out of here. But here's the thing. She's a city girl. So she don't know about Colorado and the country and whatnot. And she's like, I got to get out of here. It's like, it's right before Christmas, right? Like, I bet all the flights are booking everything. And I mean, we even checked online for you and all the tickets. Like, there's no way you can get out of there right now. She's like on the set upstairs. So like the set, I guess it's like a 2-story house. She opens the window, throws her suitcase, the one suitcase she has now. She throws the suitcase out of the window and then she jumps. And it's the family's downstairs, drinking cocoa and whatnot, just chilling. And they don't notice her. And she just go, poof. Because I'm thinking, like, she didn't scream. Did the snow just absorb the impact and whatnot? So she gets up and she starts booking it on foot. She goes to town and she obviously sticks out like a sore thumb because she's the only black person in Colorado. Now, what I love about this is that the movie itself, it doesn't have like other people looking around like, oh, wow, black person. Oh, no. She's just walking down the street. And I can relate to this. Like I said, going to Liberty and whatnot. Liberty University was a melting pot. So was Lynchburg in general. But it was not uncommon for me to just walk around and be like one speck of pepper in a bowl of salt. There you go. So I just thought that was a nice little touch. And all the while, I'm thinking, dang, she looked like Jasmine. But hey, that's not impacting my score. So she gets directions from one guy to take her to directions from a guy to point her in the right direction for the airport. And She gets there and she wants to get a flight. There are no tickets available because all flights are going to be grounded for at least the next week, since Colorado is preparing for one of, if not the worst snowstorms they've had in years. Then she goes over to like a rent-a-car service on the other side of the airport, and they're like, yeah, everything is taken in terms of like the big vehicles and whatnot, but also it's about to be a huge storm. So she's snippy with these people because she doesn't know any. Obviously, she's in her feelings about what happened and it makes sense. But she ends up taking like a like a 2-gear car. Basically, if you watch Family Matters, that hoopty that Steve Urkel had, imagine that, but a busted version of it. So Joy's plan was to ride this little hoopty. I'll just call it the Ladybug because it was red and, well, it was dirty, but it was red. She planned on taking this thing from Colorado to New York, even though the woman was like, okay, you got to stay local and whatnot. And it's like, okay, yeah. She ends up getting lost in a snowstorm. GPS goes out, and then she just stops because the road has ended. It's like, wait, what? It's like, you need to make a U-turn 57 miles. Like, what? So then she stops the car. She gets out, tries to find service. The snow is just going crazy right now. So then she tries to get back in the car, but she's locked out. And the next thing you know, the car goes through the ice because she didn't know this, but apparently she drove on a frozen lake. She was going, like, the car was spinning around in circles before she eventually stopped. Then Tyler Perry does something that had me going, I know good and well. The car goes under, and I'm like, oh no, she better move. Joy falls through the ice. And I'm like, I know what. And the scariest part is, and I got to give props to Tyler for how this was filmed now. Look, I know. I don't know if this was AI or whatnot, but we get an underwater perspective. She's under the water and her car's gone down and the ice closes over top, which I know this happens in real life, but the ice shut, like, imagine the door just slamming. She goes under and wham, she's trapped under the ice and she's sinking. And the only thing that floats back up as we take another shot before the screen goes dark is her romance novel. And I'm thinking, it's 25 minutes in, and I know Tyler Perry did not kill her off. I saw the trailer. Ridge ain't even getting the film yet. So I'm thinking, is she dead? Is everything we watch from that point on, just like her in her last moments, she's dreaming everything that happens? Because I'm like, we still got like an hour and 15 minutes left of this film. Like, what's going to happen? We're going to watch this movie. Nothing is real. And then the final moments of the film is Joy's funeral. I'm like, I know. Look, Tyler, you done a lot of stuff. You like in the finale of Have and Have Nots ended up with dang near everybody dead. But I'm like, I know you didn't kill Jasmine and the sisters, and that traumatized me. But now you're gonna kill off her chocolate duplicate in this movie. Like, what? So then we go to a different scene, and Joy is underneath a big blanket, and it turns out she's in a cabin, and she freaks out when she sees a guy with a knife, and she's asking all the right questions under the sheet, like, wait, where am I? How did I get here? Wait, where are my clothes at? So then she screams, runs outside going, help, 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 and Ridge pokes his head out, it's like, yeah, there's nobody around here for miles, and you might want to come in before you get, frostbite or whatever. So Joyce comes back in, and man, I feel seen. Let me talk a bit more about what happens between these two, and then I'll go into it. So Joy was saved by Ridge because he was out there hunting. And he saw the cars, going around in circles. And he tried to, get her attention, which I can imagine was difficult because it was snowing pretty hard at the time. She was looking at the GPS. She could barely see out of the windshield. So he just so happened to be in the area saw what occurred with the car, and was able to save her. Now, my first instinct is, ain't no way in heck. But then again, I will say this much. How many times have we seen holiday films where, I don't know, the main character, woman, man, or whoever, ends up getting amnesia or something and is taken in by this person and or their family, and they end up falling in love, and once their memory comes back, it's like, wait, this simple life, I came from a family of fortune, or I was, this CEO or something, and all of a sudden I don't want that anymore. I just want to go back to this simple life. And it's like, wait, what? And we have seen so many instances where low key Hallmark had me thinking, Jeremy, if you just go out for once, go to Food Line or something, or the post office, you might bump into a woman and you'll bond. It's like, oh, you were reaching for the last can of ravioli, or yeah, I see you like Frosted Flakes too, huh? And then you bond, and it turns out she's like the heiress of a fortune, or the princess of a country you've never heard of. Yeah, that's yeah, I never believed in that nonsense. But yeah, I can believe that Joy somehow did not die of, drowning or hypothermia or anything of that nature. I'll let it slide. Seriously, once you let that slide, the rest of the movie works. But yeah, he somehow saved her. But then again, it's explained he's been out here. He's country boy. He knows. And I'm like, well, I live in a remote country area, so some things you just have a knack for. So, all that aside, this is when we get to learn some backstory. So a bunch of different hijinks ensue, where you got the city girl who is in the country, doesn't really know much about this kind of lifestyle, and she's really confused about why he's living off the grid. Like, wait, no phone, no Wi-Fi, no social media. Like, well, what's up? No TV. What's up with you? So we cut back to the friends a couple times, and I'll sum them up real quick. So they are concerned because they haven't heard from Joy in a while. And they try different avenues of trying to, contact police in Colorado to, figure out what's going on. Then they spend time trying to search through the apartment for any sort of signs of, okay, so Colton's phone number. Let's see if we can reach out to him. Meanwhile, Colton and his fiance go to the room. It's like, oh, I know you were tired, but are you still sleeping? And then they go and notice that she's gone and the window's open. And there was a text message that Colton didn't see until just now that Joy said, sorry, something came up, I had to leave. So they're concerned. And then when the friends reach out to him, he's like, okay, the storm's picking up, but Dad and I are going to try to figure out what's going on. So their B plot through all this is just trying to find Joy. hey, that's the title of the movie. And over at the cabin, here's where we learn a bit more. First of all, I'm sorry, this scene cracked me up. So Joy is stunned about the outhouse situation. There's no indoor plumbing. Secondly, she doesn't want to eat rabbit stew because she's a vegan. It's like, you gonna die. What? Oh yeah, there's this whole bit about, you're a serial killer. No, I'm not. I'm not a serial killer, okay? I just so happen to be out there. I saw you. There you go. And she goes to the outhouse while he gets the gun. And he's like, wait, what? You're not going to kill me? Because she kind of, teases him about being, a weirdo or crazy for living out in the middle of nowhere. Because, obviously in a movie like this, the two people from different worlds are going to clash at first, questioning one another's lifestyles, where, Ridge is a bit just annoyed by Joy's ignorance in terms of outdoor living versus her uppity bougie lifestyle being uprooted, and she just can't believe anyone in their right mind would be living the way Ridge does. So he takes his gun and he's like, look, I only have rations for me, and if you're going to be here for several days, if not a week, I need to go out there and hunt, so we will have food. So he goes out to hunt and he sees like a giant moose and he's about to take down Bullwinkle. Hey, Rocky, look at me pull this thing out of my hat. Again? If you get that reference, you're a real one. So she goes to the outhouse, even though she doesn't want to. And as she sits down and it's like, okay, Joe, I can do this. 1, 2. And then right before he fires at the moose, she screams. He runs over and asks what's happening. And it's like, I can't believe it's cold. Wait, was the seat wet before you sat on it? Yeah. Did you wipe it down? No. You never seen A Christmas Story? When the kid gets his tongue stuck to the pole? And he's like, look, I got to get some hot coffee and I got to come in there, though, and pour it around you so you can get off. And look, hey, I saw you naked when I got you out of the pond and took those clothes off you so you wouldn't die. So they had this funny moment where it's like 1, 2, 3, and he pulls her off. And then she's looking at him and you think this is a romantic moment in an outhouse. And then she screams and shoves him out the door. That was funny. I laughed. So then from there, as hijinks ensue, this is when there's a little bit of personality here. What I mean by that is they get to know each other a little more. You know, Joy opens up about having a lot of bad romances in the past and fantasizing and whatnot. And he says you're never wrong for loving someone. And as time goes on, she accidentally rips a quilt that she didn't know his mom gave him. It was like the last thing she gave before she passed away about 2 years ago, close to Christmas. And she ends up sewing it for him. And he's just like, wait, what? How did you fit? What? She's from the fashion world. This is what she does. So it turns out it was like a Native American, thing where the patchwork was put together, and the woman that made it, her name was Joy. And I'm like, what? Coincidence? I think not. And then we learn a bit more about Joy being a foster kid and working her way up to the fashion world. And Ridge, turns out, his dad, he's estranged from the family. The dad married a woman about 6 months after his wife passed away, Ridge's mother. He has 2 brothers. He doesn't really talk with them. So you see kind of like Ridge encouraging Joy to not, be working under the thumb of an oppressor like Patrick and work for herself. And then you have Joy, who's pushing Ridge to make amends with the family because based off what you're telling me about your mom, it doesn't sound like she'd want you to be out here alone, especially during the holidays. Now, from there, he does know Colton. Now, if I were to say one thing I wish we knew a bit more about, it's the dynamic between Ridge and Colton. So it turns out Ridge knows Colton from back in high school because he knew that once he left to go to New York, Colton's family was concerned because, apparently he's a little slow upstairs because he played a lot of high school football. And that explains a lot when you really think about it. But later in the film, when these two actually meet face to face, it's like, hey, Ridge, what's up, Colton? And that's it. And I'm like, wait, what? There's no, what? Because I'm thinking to myself, was Colton, I don't know, like someone who gave him a rough time in high school or something? But no, we really don't get any backstory with that. So here's the thing. These two get to know each other, and there are some nights because I think she sleeps on the bed, he sleeps on in his rocking chair and whatnot, and they get a little tipsy, drinking, and it's just one of those things where it's like late night DMs, but in real life, and it's way better. I wouldn't know, of course, but hey, it looked good. So then they ended up having bow chicka wow wow. And then the next morning comes, and Joy's happy, the sun's shining, and Ridge is in his feelings simply due to the fact that, well, yeah, it's finally good enough weather for them to hike down from the cabin to his truck so he can bring her into town so she can get out of there. And as they get to now, if you watch Shrek, you know that scene where Shrek overhears Donkey and Fiona talking, and he assumes that Fiona's talking about him in terms of never being able to be with someone that ugly. And then the next morning, when Fiona's all happy to tell Shrek, I would need to tell you that I'm an ogre. That's when Shrek comes back with Farquaad. And then it's like, hey, you got exactly what you wanted, right? That's pretty much what happens here, where he's upset because they had this night of passion, but it sucks because he knows that the very next day she's about to leave. So it's like last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. Dang, that's like my favorite Christmas song, man. This movie pulled at my heartstrings. Oh yeah, speaking of Ridge had a thing in the past where a girl broke his heart. Turns out he was in love with her, but didn't know she was actually into someone else until he caught them at dinner. Yeah, that sucks. Really sucks. But in any case, when they get to the bottom of the trail they were walking on, that's when a couple of sheriff vehicles pull up. Colton, his fiance, and Joy's two friends are there with the sheriff, and they're just happy she's safe. Turns out Colton learned from the girls why Joy bolted, and he's sorry. And it's like, yeah, you ought to be, you dummy. So that's when they had that brief moment where it's like, what's up, Ridge? Hey, Colton. And I'm like, again, like, there's no what? Like, I thought there'd be like a little bit more there, but no. And when the girl's like, okay, it's time to go, and then she's like, wait, let me tell Ridge bye. He's already halfway, turned around and over the trail because he's like upset. So they're heading back to New York, and then we fast forward a month later, and Joy's at work, and I think Patrick and like the higher up comes over to her station to talk, and somebody sent an email with a bunch of designs showing that these were Joy's designs from back in college, and she denies it in order to protect Patrick. And she gets fired on the spot and won't be able to work in this fashion world again. She goes home upset, and it turns out Lydia was the one who emailed that stuff because she was trying to help her girl, but instead it ruined her career. So then as she's about to leave the apartment, Ridge is right there with some flowers, and she's obviously not in the mood for this because her whole world fell apart, but eventually, he convinces her just to talk. So as they go to her room and she tells her girls to back off, that's when he breaks down. And I felt this because I'm such a loner, a hermit. I'm like, if a woman out of nowhere, if I saved her life and it's like, hey, we spent a week together and you talk, I love you, Joy. You taught me that you messed me up. You messed up my ability to be alone. And I'm like, oh, this is so relatable. And look, it's like, if you want me, look, I'll be in town for the rest of the night. I'll head back to Colorado tomorrow because the thing is, I took your advice. I went back and talked to my family and we patched things up. And I've been thinking about you every day since you left. I didn't like how you left because of my attitude and whatnot, and you were ready to go back home. And if you don't want to talk to me, I understand, but just know I'll be here till the morning. And as he's about to leave her room, she takes him by the hand, and I guess they did the freaky deaky. And the next morning, I guess it's the next morning, and he learned from her about her dream being crumbled because of her girl sending the designs, and she wants to go back to him, go back to Colorado with him to enjoy the simple life. Which, yeah, it felt like at this time of the movie, I'm like, well, I know how this is going to turn out, and he rightfully says, don't run away. I mean, fight for your dreams. Because look, if you want to go to Colorado, we can like up and leave right now. But the thing is, I don't want you to be thinking like you're just running away from your problems instead of fighting for what you want. So then her friends come in and say, hey, your boss called. We promised we had nothing to do with this. So they go to the office and she tells them that she's leaving. So I think one of my favorite bits about this was when Joy and Ridge go over to the office and they're going upstairs and whatnot. She's holding his hand. I don't know why. I just love that because it just felt like this is the support she needs because, the fact that this is a place where she feels she has to be and endure whatever crap she's dealt by Patrick in order to get ahead. But now this time she isn't going in there alone. And it's like, hey, I'm about to get out of here anyway, so I don't care. I'm going to go. I got my man. I just like that. That was a nice little touch. So she goes into the office. Ridge is like, hey, I'll be sitting right here for you when you come out. And it turns out the head guy checked the authenticity of the notebook and everything, and as well as contacted her design school professors, and everything is legit. And essentially, Patrick gets fired on the spot because it's like, wow, it's like you're a woman of integrity and morals, and you wouldn't allow, you know, well, actually, yeah, you would do this to protect him of all people. See, the dude's name, I can't say P words right now. Patrick is like, no, you got to let go of that because there's no way you can get ahead in this world with that demeanor. But he shows her a photo of what her name would look like as the head of the fashion line. And it's what she said she wanted at the beginning of the film. And I'm just like, what? So I'm like, oh, typical holiday movie trope. She's going to give up her dream for, you know, love. And it's like, what? So she's like, I can't do it. And the guy's like, wait, are you serious right now? Yeah, it's like, this isn't what I thought it'd be. So Tyler Perry does something that I never seen. And look, I have watched every Madea movie, every Tyler Perry show, whatever. But I haven't watched like every Hallmark or Lifetime Christmas movie. So maybe there is one where this trope has been turned on its head. But this is the first holiday romance movie that I've seen where rather than the main character throws away their high earning career for a romance that occurred over the course of like a weekend, or in this case a week, I was so happy when Ridge was like, no, you are not going to walk away from this. I want to marry you. I love you, but I don't want you resenting me years down the road because you gave up your dream. And we can make it work. Like, yeah, I love the simple life, but if I need to be there for you in the big city because this is your dream, then let's do it. Holy crap. I was like, yo, like you go in that office and you take that offer. I'm like, thank you. Thank you, Tyler Perry. I was so sick of the memes and the reels I'd see from like people who recreate these kind of scenes in movies where it's like, hey, you know what, Dad, I know I got this full ride scholarship to college that would save you a whole lot of money. You know, things have been tough since Mom got treated with cancer and passed away. And I know the medical bills were high and you had to give up my college fund money. But thanks to my academics or my athletic ability, this school is giving me the lifetime opportunity to go to school for free. But I want to give it up because I love Cindy, even though we've only known each other for 3 days. No! Or woman goes to small town, dumps her boyfriend, or who is soon to be fiance, who makes like 6 figures, and it's like, babe, I'm sorry, I can't go home with you for Christmas. I got this business meeting, and if things go well, this could set us up for life. It's like an 8-figure deal. No, Jonathan, you don't understand the magic of Christmas, okay? I was in my hometown for the weekend, and I met up with Patrick, my high school crush, and he baked cookies, and we went to the Christmas parade, and it showed me I need the simple life. I don't need all this. We've been together for 7 years. But Patrick showed me the world in only 2 days. What the heck? No. Ridge was like, girl, you go in that office and you take that deal. I want to be your man. And a real man will be there to support and push his woman to go after her dreams. And they get married at the end of the film. And I'm like, yo, Tyler Perry, this is what I'm talking about. Please make more movies like this. Listen, I know I have my complaints when I review some of the shows and whatnot, but this movie was phenomenal. I enjoyed it from start to finish. Like I said, I wish there was a little bit more if they would have shown us like maybe what Ridge and Colton's dynamic was. Like, were they high school bullies? Did they both play football together? Like, it's just one of those things. Or were they just buddies who picked different paths? I don't know. But either way, I enjoyed this movie a lot. Shout out to the actors. Shannon, definitely will check out more of your work. Like I said, I let go of any Crystal Lee Naomi bias because she looks so similar to her, but she can act. I like this. Yeah, this is your lane. Please do more movies like this, whether they're holiday or just feel-good movies. It just felt so relaxing. I think that's how Tyler described this film. a lighthearted movie in the midst of the times we are living in. So this movie gets 5 stars from me. Make sure you go check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. I think you really would, because I think the themes regarding finding love, finding joy in the most unexpected places. It's like when you're at rock bottom, sometimes that's when you'll find what you've been looking for the whole time, when you thought it was at the top of the mountain. And yeah, like me, in terms of living out in a remote area, it's like I highly doubt I'm going to find somebody in the backyard. That would be kind of weird. Plus, I got phone and social media and cameras, so I'm pretty sure I could, report it, and then the proper people will come. I don't think I live in that bad of an area where someone's going to be stranded for a week. But yeah, this was a good film. Good job, Tyler Perry. Good job. So go check out Finding Joy. It's available on Prime Video. The film itself, okay, if you don't count the end credits, it's about an hour, 38 minutes. So yeah, it's a good movie. That's all I got for you. Let me know your thoughts after you watch the film. Come back to this video and leave your comments below. As I mentioned before, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.